Quantitative research, you have already learned so many things. There are numeric data, your analysis, the frequency, cross tabulation, and estimation, and you have generalized some results for the based on your sample size. But in qualitative research, involve collecting data, analyzing non-numerical data. That is text, video, audio, and it can be used rather than in-depth interview, in-depth inside the problem, inside your research question, your research objective, to generate the new idea for the research. So the goal of qualitative research is to help us understand social phenomena and the others' experiences about the participant in the depth. The researchers build a complex, holistic picture analysis, words, reports, detailed view of information, and conduct the study in a natural setting. So use of qualitative research in health research. So yeah, in a qualitative research, we will try to study the social, cultural, and economics and other factors, those who are influence the health and category of the diseases, and to examine the interaction between stakeholders and actual position of the disease or actual risk factor of the disease between the researcher to stakeholders, programmers. And for qualitative research, also explore how people, community interpret health, how they think about the disease, and then explore the complex issues such as human behavior and what is needs, what field that those who are suffering from the disease, what is their needs. And finally, the researcher facilitates understanding and making the report for policy maker and those who are involved in the decision maker, and stakeholders, those who are politically involved in for the policy making. So actually there is, so what is the differences between qualitative and quantitative research? If you see about by attribute like a data collection, so in quantitative research, we are using structural method, very highly structural questionnaires, survey, and other things. While in the qualitative research, we will use semi-structural, open-ended questionnaire, and we can do some interview, focus group, and others, observation or document review, in-depth interview. And type of question for the qualitative research, the question is very close-ended questions, like yes, no, there is some category. But in the qualitative research, the question is very open-ended. Suppose like you can ask, tell me about something about you, tell me something about your disease, or tell me something about your coping mechanism about your disease. Means we are having very less question. We try to explore more about disease or more about any health issue from the respondent. From the data produced in the quantitative research, we are analyzing mainly in the numeric data. So descriptive, other things, frequency, cross tabulation. But in qualitative research, we are described data in the word, mainly in word format. Respondent, many respondent. For quantitative study, you need many respondent because you are going to generalize the your results when you are making the report. But in qualitative research, you are not going to generalize the report. So you require few respondents, and it is taking more time, more money. So it is not possible to take so many respondents like quantitative research. So from the quantitative research, if you see the we can read the theory. From theory, you can make previous study, literature review, and based on your experiences and past research study, you can make up your hypothesis. And after that, you make observation. And after that, you can prove your hypothesis are accepted or rejected. But in qualitative research, we observation or whatever in-depth interview focus, whatever we are doing. So after that, we see the pattern of the disease and we can make hypothesis. From hypothesis, you can make theory. From theory, you can reverse back. From theory, you can make the questionnaire and you go for the quantitative research. So analytical objectives, if you see the quantitative research mainly use the statistical analysis, mathematical analysis, mainly expressed in the numbers, graphs, and tables, figure, etc. While in qualitative research, we analyzing or summarizing the data in the text format, word format, and categorize theme-wise, sub-theme-wise, some cluster theme-wise, and mainly expressed in word. So in quantitative research, if you see the focus on testing theory and prove or disprove the hypothesis, but in qualitative research, focus exploring about idea, formulating a theory or hypothesis. And again, based on the hypothesis, you can explore theory, and based on your qualitative research, you can also go for the big survey, use a quantitative survey. So in the quantitative survey, we are using estimations, testing, measurements, your objective, it replicability. But in the qualitative research, we are understanding in depth about the disease, about the respondent, about the social phenomena, conceptual complexity, and subjectively. So here you can see the in the slide that research approach in health study. In the quantitative survey, we mainly want to see how much disease is there, what is the prevalence of disease, particular disease, what is the incidence of particular disease. But in qualitative research, you see how illness recognized and classified by the respondent. In quantitative research, you see what risk factors are associated with the disease. What is the risk factor, cultural, social, economics, environmental, what type of risk factor you are going to analyze by multivariate. And from logistic regression and others regression, you can see, and then the factors are associated with the disease. But in the qualitative research, you want to know the risk factor, mean the what is the meaning of risk factor. If there is some problem, like environmental factor, if safe drinking water is not in the quantitative research, if you find that the unsafe drinking water is a main problem for some specific disease. So why it is a problem? Why they are not using safe drinking problem? What is the reality? You can ask the respondent in qualitative research through in-depth interview, through other methods. So in the quantitative research, you see what is the measurable risk of obtaining a specific outcome. But you can measure, you can estimate, you can estimate your outcomes for forecasting, but based on the previous study, based on your study, based on the previous documents, using different methods. But in the qualitative research, you interpret respondent and cope with the risk and illness. Suppose you are someone suffering from cancer, then you can ask very deeply how you are coping with your out-of-pocket expenditure, how you manage your out-of-pocket expenditure, because cancer is a very expensive disease, and what is the risk, how you define your illness, your health, all these things you go in the deep. So I am trying to some example to know what is the main differences between the qualitative and quantitative. So suppose like research question, what is the impact of learner-centered hand washing program on a group 2 graders? So there is, you need paper, pencil, test, some results, hands washing, some score, and based on the score, you want to generalize how many percentage are using safe washing program, safe hand, and how many are not using. So your goal is to generalize. When you are generalizing, where you are going to generalize any result, it is not a qualitative, it is a quantitative. Through quantitative methods, you can generalize your result. But if see what is the experience of Black fathers concerning support for their wife, partners during labor. Then unstructured interview with Black father, 5 supportive, 5 non-supportive. Result left in the narrative from describe them based on the nursing staff, based on the staff who are involved in the delivery. For the whole person theory, they can describe their view, their attitude, their behavior, and that is, you are not going to generalize behavior anyway, you are not going to generalize. So that we need to qualitative method for this type of research. So what is the experience of the hope in women with advanced ovarian cancer? Semi-structured interview with the women with advanced ovarian cancer, like some 20 participants, identify code, category, and narrative examples. So in the narrative example, you can write their views, their experiences, their problems, and for this you need to qualitative research. We are not going to generalize the result. We are not able to generalize this type of result. So we need to qualitative research. I am audible to all? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please continue.
Okay. So when to use and not use qualitative research. So there is no hard fast rule, but if event are unknown or need to be explored, if it is known also, but very less known, then you can go for qualitative research and explore in depth or more idea about that, your objective, your research questions. When events change quickly, like COVID-19, so there is so many prediction and any prediction is not going to right direction. So you can, some people are thinking that there is a stigma about COVID-19 patient, and some are thinking there is no stigma. So for that, you can go for qualitative research and check the people are feeling stigma among the patients who are suffering or who are suffered from the COVID-19. When we look good way to measure things, when we need to know what real life is like, because in a quantitative research you are asking yes, no, you are asking that what do you think about the COVID-19? What do you think about the mask is a prevention method for the COVID-19? Some are saying it good, it not good. Some are saying bad. But in qualitative research, you can ask why you think it is bad, why you think it is a good, what you think about the mask is really good, mask is not good, and what we can do for the further prevention of the COVID-19. So that type of things we are using, we are doing in the qualitative research. When the number and statistics do not add up, so we are not adding here number and statistics. We are going for mainly the in depth and mainly for the depth idea about your research question. But when not to use, understanding the already completed. If your research question is already known, so many previous studies there about your research question, your objective. But now fashion is, many people are using quantitative and qualitative research to support the quantitative research. They are doing some from the whole sample, they are doing qualitative research on some sample, some part of the sample. But if there is very literature is already in the place, so many studies there, so there is actually no need to do the qualitative research to test the hypothesis that are fully brought into. So if we are going to test the hypothesis and about hypothesis, so many papers, so many documents there, you can prove your hypothesis and disprove, and you can discuss with some previous studies. To generate measure of statistical significance and generalization. So I have already told we are not going to generalize the result in the qualitative measure, qualitative research. So if you are generalize your measures, your estimation, the statistically significant, that your objective is significant or not significant, are you going to generalize or some population, a whole population, or some group of population, then we are not going to do the qualitative research. So these are some qualitative data collection techniques, method. We can use this method and we can collect the data for the qualitative research. There is some techniques like social mapping, FGD, focus group discussion, in-depth interview, key informant interview, discussion, document review, observation, hello. Sorry. And document review, observation. So we will go through one by one research techniques. So this is a social mapping. The social mapping is a data collection process where researcher asks the local residents about important cultural landmark, high-risk site area, and identify this location to conceptualize the actual map. So suppose you are studying some cancer-related patient, then you can, in some specific area, some specific groups, then you can social mapping there, ask someone to where is a tobacco shop, where is the alcohol shop. And if you are doing some research on HIV/AIDS patient, then you can social mapping the area, those who are the high risk living, those who are living in the high risk population like transgender, etc. So you can measure the hot spot. So where transgender are living, if transgender or some high risk population is there, then the HIV prevalence may be high there because of the high risk population. So you can social map, create a social map of that area. Then focus group discussion, it is a very important technique for the qualitative research. Involve a small number. There is a not hard fast rule, but you try to as I say, ideal number of 6 to 10 person, and try to similar characteristics like age, gender, because some are very young, some are very old. So in the group, some young people are not comfortable to discuss with the some older person. And for this, you have trained moderator to reveal the understanding, opinion, attitude, and reason. Trained moderator, so the moderator will manage the participants, because if you see if your group 6 to 10, some are telling continuously, some are not telling. So if you want to view of all people, but some are very less talking, some are more talking. So for that, moderator is there. And if you see in the focus group discussion, many are while talking, they are going to talk some political things, some other things. So moderator will be there, and he or she will be managed and he will see put their question, relative research question objective, so that all people are discuss about your idea, your research question about your objectives. So these are the steps. First, for focus group discussion, first determine the topics and goal for the focus group. So what is your research question? What is your objective? What you want to collect data? So first you decide about your research question and objective, and then identify potential participant. Suppose you are you want to focus, you want to data collection on HIV, about HIV persons. So you have to more focus like high risk population area, those who are living in the commercial sex workers. So whatever your research question, you can prepare your participant, and it is totally depend on the coordinator, surveyor, those who are the principal coordinator, those who are the surveyor. They can decide the participant according to their research question. Then prepare a guide before you start the focus group discussion. Prepare a guide, a moderator of discussion guide that outline the focus group questions. So you make some small questions, at least 10 to 15, something you have some questions that your group is not going to talk other than your research question. Then you can, in the, sometimes you can put one question after 10 minutes discussing, you can put second question, and you can take some view about your research question on the research question from the all respondent. Choose the location for the focus group. You have to choose the location, then because you have to some privacy for your interview. In open space, it is not possible if focus group discussion is there and near here there so many persons is there. So you have to choose your location and maintain the privacy while you are doing your FGD. Recruit 6 to 12 participants. We receive an incentives. Sometimes people are giving some incentive, or because the participants are wasting their time. Maybe some participants are doing some work, some daily wages work, and he or she lost their salary. So you have to provide some incentive for participant, but be careful about that your moderator is very trained, because people are having some money, they are talking so many things, so many unnecessary things. So your moderator will be manage all these things about your research question. Then contact a 90 to 120 minute session lead by the trained moderator. It is not hard past 90 to 20 is the average time. You can to conduct 60 minutes, 80 minutes, more than 120 minutes based on the research questions and based on the responses on the respondent. And then analyze the session and add present and present through the written and oral report. There you can write some narrative like some people are telling more, some are not telling, or some are not want to talk. So they can, you can write some description about your respondent. So why we are doing the focus group discussion? To generate the idea. Suppose you are going to new research the new you are searching this new research question, new research objective. So you can generate idea about that, and to listen the experiences, feeling, opinion, and knowledge about the participants, and develop the frame for conducting other research. That is, after that, there is a new things you can ask the respondent if you find some new like local language, some questionnaires you want to develop, you don't have any idea. So from focus group discussion, you can develop your research questions also. And understand result of others' research. And you can understand the because while they are talking, they have talking so much, so you can correlate your result from the in-depth interview and others method like social mapping and others there how they are matching the from the focus group discussion. And this is an important in-depth interview is the most important techniques for the qualitative research. So here is only two persons, one is respondent, one is interviewer. And the interviewer flexible, often unstructured, allow to interviewer to encourage and respondent to talk length about particular topic of interest. Questions are asked about what people feel and think, how they see even the world around them. So in the in-depth interview, you allow to respondent talk more. Like sometimes I have done already the in-depth interview in during my PhD. If you want talk about you, then respondent told my name is Jitendra Yadav. Then what is your age? My age is 40 years. So not like that. Thus you tell that like the main thing is in-depth interview, you allow to respondent expenditure, out-of-pocket expenditure, and what is the problem faced about expense, incurred expenses, so many expenses in your DG. So this type of question you are not going to capture in quantitative. Quantitative, you can ask how many you spend. If your some hospital are referred to some other hospital, then referral, how many referral hospital is there. But you can ask why refer, what is the problem? There is some money problem, there is some others problem, you are not faith on this hospital. You can ask so many things in the in-depth interview. And then key informant interview. So key informant interview. So key means who is open the key about your research question, that become your key informant. Like in village, village pradhan, yeah, some members or some doctors, like those who are doing practice in the area. He or she can tell about the some services, about healthcare services about the area. So they can become, he or she can become your key informant. And mainly differences in key informant and in-depth interviewing. Key informant, you are asking about your location, about area, many things, not about the respondent. But in-depth interview, you are asking about the respondent experience only. A respondent's personal view, personal experiences, personal happening about her life. But in key informant, you are asking about the phenomena, you are asking about the something about the whole community, about your research question. And assume that prior knowledge of phenomena, rest of knowledge is ambassador, use the conjunction with the others method. So you can use the key informant interview with the in-depth interview also. That in-depth interview, respondent told that like that, and the key that medicine are available in the village. Some doctors is there. Some from 1 kilometer my village, some PSC hospital is there. And then some key informant also talking about so many things about society. You can, when you are writing the report, you can tell about the key informant and in-depth interview in one place. Then document review, if your budget is less and if existing document is there about your research question, about your objective, you can go for document review. Visit site report, quarterly report, past evaluation report, often combined with the others method. It is not for document review. It is not one of the whole study. You can do some part of the study of any quantitative research, any qualitative method of document review to support the research study, to support the others method. Then observation, you can observe, then record behavior, person behavior, impression, their witnesses during COVID-19 testing. You can observe how patients are behaving, how doctors are behaving with the patient. So from observation, you can observe so many things about your research questions. Well, there is another method of the qualitative research is pre-listing and pile sorting. So pre-listing, you can ask about your research question from the participants, and you can ask something, you write something about your research question. If you are doing some prevalence study, incidence, some study on HIV, then you can ask write some risky places, write some risky behavior. They will write, and then you can transfer to the card like iCard. Others card, you make some cards. Suppose there are 15 ideas about participant given 15 ideas of risk behavior of high risk population. And then you can give them again, you have transfer in the card all the idea and give them again and ask to sort the listing according to the own criteria and label. Means someone may ask some criteria 1, 2, 3. Someone may be given one number of 3. Someone give it 2. So you can compile their idea, and then the number 3 is the most people are saying that number 3 is a very risk behavior of the high risk population. So it is also one of the method. Then when and which method you use. There is so many, I have already told you, interviews, in-depth interview, observation, focus group discussion, document review. So in-depth interview you can do when your research question is very sensitive, like sexual behavior, women violence, and others. So people are not talking very openly. So you have to go for in-depth interview and for focus group discussion, non-sensitive information, because there is so many people. If there is a very sensitive research question, they are not able to talk in front of so many people. So if there is non-sensitive information, then you go for focus group discussion. Want to observe for observation, want to observe actual sitting experience as a service. You want to observe the which type of people are going to in the government hospitals. You can observe there, and document review. If your budget is very low and so many existing material, so many research studies there about your research question, then you go for document review. Then systematic and participatory, learn more about need to community. If you want to more about community people, so then you go for systematic and participatory. You can ask to voluntary participation from the community, or you can ask about the research question about community from the community people. And then what are the sampling techniques used for qualitative research? So here I want to tell about that in the qualitative research, mainly we are using the non-probability sampling, like purpose quota sampling, snowball techniques, convenience sampling, other sampling, those who are non-probability sampling. But if one can do the also use the probability sampling, like random sampling, but it is very costly and it is not feasible for qualitative research. So in quantitative research, if you talk about sample size, always you take a large sample size because you are going to generalize, you are going to estimation, generalize your whole population, your research interest. But in qualitative, there are small, relatively small samples as regards of quantitative research. So quantitative research, always people are using random selection for the respondent, but in qualitative selection, most of the time, people are using purposefully selected, non-probability sampling. And quantitative is research, you can see that it is statistically representative. Your data is very large. You can give the weight, you can analyze the data, and you can generalize your result on the whole population. But in a qualitative data, it is representative, but it is not statistically significant. It's a broad type of information level of relevant of the research. Sometimes it can support your quantitative research also. So you have already taken the class of sampling by Dharmender Yadav, but here I am going to give something about some non-probability sampling, like those who are using for the qualitative sampling, qualitative method. So purposive sampling is this is a sample selected by defined purpose view of the choice of sampling unit depend entirely on the decision of the supervisor, PI of the project, and this is the non-probability sampling. So this suffer from the drawback that the favoritism and nepotism of the supervisor. Supervisor maybe take some their friends their colleagues and some persons, those who are easily available. So this is a drawback of the purposive sampling. So participants selected according to pre-decided criteria. In purposive sampling, pre-decided criteria is your research question. Quota sampling, in the cost of the randomly selection is spectrum is very high. Certified sampling, then sampling unit is assigned as a quota. You can assign the quota like a whole population. If you want to interview a male above 50, and then you can decide your quota from some age group, some support sample is 20. You can decide that we can take a population, 10 population from 50 to 60, 10 is 60 plus, 10 is male, 5 is male, 5 is female. You can decide your quota, and it is based on the principal investigator or surveyor. So always characters included age, place of residence like rural, urban, or gender, male, female, class, professions, marital status. Yeah, if you are going to some specific like question HIV cancer patient, then you have to choose the HIV patient or cancer patient. And then snowball technique sampling, which is also non-probability sampling. If you can see in the figure, one can tell about the 2, and others 2 can tell about the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's also known as the chain referral sampling. So for snowball techniques, we are using, if your problems is very less known, like maternal mortality, snake bite. If you if you have someone who have victim of snake bite, they will tell you. You can ask after the interview if you know then some other person who is a victim of snake bite. Then they will tell, he or she will tell about the 2%, and then we go for 2%. Then you can ask about 2 or 3, 3 or 4. So you can achieve your sample. It is a hidden population. It is not very occurring like some accidental cases. You can ask from victim of accident, they can refer some other cases, those who are treating in the hospital during their accidental treatment. And the random sampling, so it is if you talk about random sampling, the fundamental important of statistics. It is a very known techniques in the sampling, and it is based on the probability sampling, and it is a pre-decided probability being selected of the sample. If your sample is always, if you are going to with replacement, your probability will remain same. If you are going to without replacement, your probability will be changed. But it will be a random selection, and it is a very less people are using the random sampling in the qualitative research. Then some ethical guidelines are there. It is for also qualitative both. You can respect to person, required a commitment to ensure autonomy of research participant, and you can tell to your respondent about benefits, require the commitment of minimizing risk associated with research, including psychological, social, or other risks. Justing required a commitment to ensure the fair distribution of risk, and you have to tell clearly about the risk and benefit about the result from the research. Respect for community should be added. And then before you start your survey, any method, focus group, any FGD, in-depth interview, anything, you have to take informed consent from the respondent, that ensuring that the people understand what you are going to doing, what is your research study, and you have you have to follow some ethical guidelines for the research. Maybe yesterday Dr. Ravinder Singh have discussed about the more about guidelines of ethics about the research in health area, and you have to tell clearly about objective of the research and what is the expected of research outcomes, including amount, and what are the going to take a amount of time required participation, and expected risk benefit, including psychological or social. Before you start the interview, you have to take their signatures and some expression, anything. So you can also tell to respondent that your participation is totally voluntary, and one can withdraw any time up without any reason of the without any reason. One can free to exempt from your samples, and you can also tell that your name and your identity will be kept confidentially, and we are using only for research purpose. Name and contact person of local leader investigator. Suppose in the field mainly people are sending the investigator, so you have to give to your PIE or some person's contact number. If a respondent has any problem, they can contact to your PIE or some senior persons. And also nowadays it is essential to give some contact information of ethics committee. In every institute have a own ethics committee. There is a chairman, members, and others. You can give the chairman, and if there is any problem, problems, any respondent can directly call to chairperson and tell about his risk and other things. So finally, we are going to. It is a very crucial part of in the qualitative data analysis, because in the quantitative research, we are going to frequency cross-tabulation, multivariate analysis, multi-level decomposition, cluster analysis, survival analysis. So many things are there, but in there is some limitations in the qualitative data analysis. So after data collection, you have to read the data, and some if there is some thing more about your research question, you can reduce the data according to your objectives, and you can data display here with graphs, network charts, and conclusion. You can draw mainly in the qualitative research. We are using mainly the narrative and other things in the word. However, there is some analysis techniques. There is some like content analysis. It is used to evaluate pattern within the content, word, para, communication such as form of photograph, newspaper, through political speed. Large amount of text transfers in the original. Sometimes in focus group discussion, we are also going. You are also going to record the FGD. Then you have to transfer from the recording to paper and write the main things, whatever people are telling through and the time of the focus group discussion. Context analysis is dynamic and widely equal, but it is not without drawback. It is very time consuming. It requires a lot of reading, because you have to read many times to understand the main things are what is the main clustering, sub-clustering, what many people are telling to match the text from one interview to others interview. So it is a very time consuming. Then you can write some narrative in your report. if you are doing both mixed method study, quantitative and qualitative research, and something that like high risk population area, what is the locations, where is the hottest part of the high risk population, and there you can also write some narration about to support their tables and figures. From the qualitative research, there is some discourse analysis, grounded theory. So there is not a hard fast rule for, like in quantitative research, if you are going to analysis descriptive, bivariate, multivariate, multi-level decomposition. Here also there is some techniques you can use your you can analyze qualitative data, but main analysis data is people are analyzing in the word, reading many times and coding some themes, sub-themes among them, and write the narrative according to themes and sub-themes. So each full step in the qualitative data analysis, read the interview fully, young time, many times. Decide the code, themes that are covered in the data about your research question, research objective. Mark the quotation lines or word, assign the code, make the list of under the theme across the interview, check the relationship between themes, interpret the result, mention the quite and reports. So there nowadays there are some software for data analysis. So very less of, I can say that only 10%, less than 10% are using the software for data analysis. More than 90% are using the narrative and others para writing to support the quantitative research. So, but nowadays people are also using some software to analyze the qualitative research, qualitative data. So there is NVivo software, Atlas TI, DDoS, and MaxCoda. So in the software, you have also write your interviews, like in-depth interview. You have write some themes, sub-themes, and put in the Word file, and you have copy paste in the software. And there also you have to code it, recode it, and then you make a graph like which themes are, most people are telling about which themes. So there are some graphs of figures. If you have write 10 sub-themes about your research whole interview, and then the software will make a graph, figures like frequency table. So how many people are telling about these themes, how many people are telling about these themes. So this type of analysis also you can use the software for the qualitative data analysis. So to summarize, so quantitative subject matter to unfamiliar. If your research question is unfamiliar, and subject matter to clearly defined. If you are going to qualitative research, so you have to know about, because you have to make a research question questionnaire. So for making the questionnaire, you have to know about the research question many things. But in qualitative research, if you don't know the many things, you can go for qualitative research and you can explore the idea about your research question. So in qualitative exploratory research, concepts are unknown or unclear, while in quantitative research, measurement problems are minor and have been resolved. When meaning in quantitative research, meaning rather than the frequency are found, where detailed numeric description and reproductive sample is required. In qualitative research, your flexible approach, you can allow to your respondent to tells so many things, but in quantitative research, yes. But in quantitative research, there is a limited coded where respondent can give his or her answer. So good qualitative research should be capture the spirit of the research question, create a partnership between the researcher and the respondent, search for meaning behind opinion and behind the numbers, recognize of use of wisdom of participant and particular program intervention and other intervention is being evaluated. So there are some challenges, but you can say there is some limitation in the qualitative research. Single qualitative research cannot be generalize the results. So nowadays people are using mixed method study to support the quantitative research. Qualitative research can high risk, low enterprises. It can take time to negotiate access, assemble a sample, develop trust and transport, find out of going to what people are thinking, because you are going to search a very sensitive issue, a very issue like those who are not known, and you are going to ask so many things about the respondent. Suppose you are asking about their sexual behavior, you are asking about women violence. So you have to develop so many repo. If repo is not developed, repo is not good, so your qualitative research will be responses may be hampered. So in quantitative research, if there is less repo, you can ask that what is your education, what is your religion, what is your caste. But in the qualitative research, you have to develop more report, because you are going to search the so many things behind the number, his or her opinion, his or her feelings, his or her behaviors. So you have less time, so there is a problem of qualitative. This is a limitation of the qualitative research. And then qualitative research, the feeling, the opinion, this is a layer. If you are going to 1 layer, 2 layers, 3 layers, so like it is you can go depth to depth about your research questions. Then I will quickly discuss about the case study of the qualitative research, because if many have not known about qualitative research. So during my presentation, many are thinking that what is the qualitative research, and many are not understand good way of the qualitative research. But during the case study, you can, this is a practical example. It is done by some Chinese authors in China. So I will go quickly. So the topic was the experience of healthcare provider during the COVID-19 crisis in China, qualitative research. So these are the things we have discussed in the study. So though in early stage of outbreak of COVID virus, healthcare system are overloaded, and few. So there is some few quantitative study, but there was not qualitative research. So some authors are going to, and some authors have explored the qualitative research, and then main aim was to gain the insight into the lived experiences of healthcare provider providing support during COVID-19. So that is sampling was 13 and 9 nurses, 4 physicians. Data collection is semi-structured through telephonic interview, because that was the risky risky time. People are maintaining social distancing and all those things. And then physicians are working different departments who were providing direct care treatment to patients of the COVID-19. And then analysis the data and the best of the assay adoption of Colargy method. So also in the Colargy descriptive phenomenal method, there is some steps, one is formalization, identify significant statement, formulating meaning, clustering themes, and develop an existing description, producing the fundamental structure and seeking verification of the fundamental structure during the analysis. So first, they have prepared the interview schedule, and then the main theme was, please tell me about experience of taking care of patient COVID-19. And then audio recording or transcribed, but audio recording means they have done the telephonic interview. So two authors are discuss about the reading all the interviews. Multiple reading, many times they have reading and clustering their views. These are the only socioeconomic characteristics of the population, age, gender, marital status. So they have created 3 themes. Here you can understand something about qualitative. They have created 3 things. Patient well-being, this is my duty. So whatever those who are nurse or physician are involved in the COVID-19 duty, that is their duty also. And then second is challenge of working of COVID-19 2019 ward, because it is a new pandemic. And then what there are some reasons and the challenges during the duty. So if the themes category, so you can see here there are so many sub-themes in theme category. There is sub-clustering. So like being fully responsible for patient well-being, this is my duty. And for this, under these things, they have asked so many 3-4 more questions. And challenging working of coronavirus disease, they have asked 4 or 5 questions. And then resilience and challenges, they have asked 2 questions of all the respondents. If you see the this is the analysis. This is the result of the study. So in the first theme, there were 3 sub-themes. So a call of duty joining the fight. So some respondent told like N2 means respondent number 2, we must try our best to win this battle. A healthcare provider, we are at the forefront. I fight for my family and I fight more for the society. And someone told that this is my duty because I am a medical worker, no matter what will happen in the future, what will happen in the future life. So there are some quotation. They have nurses and physicians are told about their experiences, about their challenges during the COVID-19 treatment. So under the theme, if you all know, COVID-19 is a very new pandemic. The starting time, people are very stressed. People are feeling not good to treatment the coronavirus patient because they have also more risk about infected the COVID. So someone told that I felt very desperate on the first day in the infectious disease hospital because there was only one entrance and passage for medical staff, and it is real isolation unit with negative pressure. I felt it was difficult to breathe. The new environment brought a sense of opinion, and someone told that some physicians and nurses come from different departments for emergency duty. So we did not collaborate with the first week, pressing a procedure order. So there is so many things. They have shared their experiences about the category 2 and other sub-theme. So someone told that I was very tired. I had to lie in bed for a whole day, recover from the fatigue after work. I am very tired and fall asleep quickly when I get back to home. Someone discuss about PPT kit. Someone discuss about their depression and what is the challenges faces them. I have not. So someone told that I have. Like someone told that I am proud that I do not hesitate the face of risk of dangers. My awareness of self-protection and communication skill have also improved. This is a special experience. I am lucky to have joined this team and to be combating the comeback of the virus. And I feel that I still have potential. I have to become qualified for the challenging job within the short times. So from this study, the authors have some discussion need to professional training for psychological care for the healthcare provider. Physical and emotional burnout need to comprehensive support to safeguard to well-being of healthcare provider and ensure that preparedness and efficacy of managed crisis. Self-included resilience and movement of powerlessness of for the healthcare worker. And then effective organizational management needs for the healthcare worker. Then workforce safety is also high priority for the healthcare worker, for their family. So this is the conclusion of the study. The incentive work drainage healthcare provider, physically and emotionally healthcare providers should their resilience, the spirit, the professional dedication to overcome the difficulty. Therefore, comprehensive support should be provided to safeguard the well-being of healthcare provider. Regular and intensive training for all healthcare providers is necessary for promote preparedness and efficacy in the crisis management. So this study is published in the very high impact factor journal, almost it is 21. .59. It's a very high impact factor. And thanks and welcome for any question, doubt, clarification.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. I hope this will give a new dimension to the researchers because very less work is going on in this qualitative research. So I think there is, if any question, then participants can unmute yourself. One by one, they ask. Yes, ma'am, please.
Hi, sir. I have a question regarding questionnaire-based qualitative research.
Yes.
Sir, validation of questionnaires and even different languages of the same questionnaires, validation in different regions of the country. How do we go about that, sir? How do we do that actually?
Okay, Simran.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Can you answer this question?
Yes, sir. So, ma'am, validation in qualitative research is mainly done through triangulation. Triangulation per se is we use a lot of methods to collect data. Considering, as Jitendra sir rightly mentioned, we have limited sample. So we try to collect the data from by employing multiple methods. Talking about questionnaire surveys, so the validation happens. So the questionnaire, a qualitative questionnaire survey is different from quantitative questionnaire survey. How? It will have more open-ended questions. So it won't be a Likert scale for sure. It won't have yes or no questions. It will be open-ended questions, and it's not fairly easy to validate the instrument like we validate the instrument in a quantitative, but we ensure that we collect data from multiple methods to reach certain level of validity.
So Simran, we are not going to content validity for the qualitative research, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me introduce Simran. So welcome to Simran Kohli. Ms. Simran Kohli is a research scientist in National Institute for Medical Statistics and working with Dr. Jitendra Yadav. Her expertise area is qualitative research.
Yeah, she is expert in qualitative research.
Yeah, so welcome, Ms. Kohli. So thank you.
Okay.
And if any other...
And the second part of the question is that how do we check whether this particular questionnaire has been validated or not, or in that particular language or not? Do we go for the published studies regarding this, or how do we check it?
Definitely, ma'am. We do check the review, like with qualitative, because the nature of the study is such that it's mostly done for exploration. So we definitely see a lot of review, in-depth review of literature is done of what is happening around that particular area of interest. So we do that, and then making of any qualitative instrument involves a lot of rigorous act. All the research scientists and all the researchers sit together, and they may have to do some pilot testing before they actually make the instrument.
Ma'am, aren't validation can be done by a senior scientist or a particular department who are included in the study, and he can approve the questionnaires further so that we can include in our qualitative study?
Yes, sir. You can make a committee and senior person. They can check. And I told Simran that you can go for pilot survey also before starting the main survey. So from the pilot survey, you can validate your different language, different questions, different local language people are able to know about whatever you are going to say. You can change your questions according to the local language, local content. You can there is so you can make a committee senior person, and they can also validate based on the previous study. And the best is you have to done pilot study before starting the main study.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Sir, can you kindly tell us some reference books which you can read for qualitative study and mixed method?
Okay. I will send it, sir. I will send the book references.
Yes, sir. Preferably some Indian author also, sir.
Okay, sure. So
in our context, that is important.
So I will make one more slide about the book and share all the slides to all.
Right, sir.
So any other doubt or suggestion or any query? Otherwise, we will. Okay, so there is a question.
Sir, one question, sir. One question, sir.
Yes, please.
The experience says that many journals they do not publish qualitative data, though it is not openly said. But qualitative research, this is normally little more voluminous, and the number of words they usually it is more than what is accepted by these journals. So in Indian context, any good journal who regularly encourage publishing qualitative research papers in the area of public health, any idea, sir?
Yes, Simran, any specific journal for qualitative research?
Especially in the area of public health in India.
So many journals can be explored, but I get that definitely there's a word limit attached to it. But almost all public health journals who accept mixed methods or qualitative will take qualitative studies. Like a 6,000 word limit or a 4,000 word limit paper is equally possible in qualitative also, despite the volume and the size of the paper.
Yeah, 6,000 quantitative research also. Some articles, some journals are taking 10,000 words, 8,000 words, 6,000 words for quantitative research also.
So there is a question: where does the qualitative study stands in hierarchy of studies? So Simran, can you?
Yeah, Simran.
So I'm assuming you mean hierarchy with respect to other studies like quantitative and mixed method.
Yes.
So it's difficult to basically give a hierarchy because every method has its own importance. Qualitative and quantitative definitely are different, but they're different because of the area or the nature of information they're exploring. So it's almost suggested that you can do a mixed method to explore a particular phenomena, but since the purpose is different, it's not, we cannot say that quantitative is higher or qualitative is lower than that, or vice versa. Definitely quantitative is done more as compared to qualitative, because qualitative is rigorous, it requires more time, more resources, but definitely they have equal weightage in terms of their importance and relevance. So the object, yeah, and definitely, sir, they're complementary to each other, they help to fill each other's gap. So it depends on the purpose of the phenomena and why we want to do a particular research.
Okay, so thank you, Simran, for this valuable
So may I
suggestion.
include one thing in it?
So, sir, can we take 5 minutes break? Yeah, after that, we will go for the hands-on on CS Pro.
Okay, sir.
So
Yes,
please
yes.
keep with us. After 5 minutes, we will start.
Okay.
What will be the next session, sir?
Actually, it is a hands-on CS Pro. It's a very useful software
For?
For quantitative research, actually. It's not for qualitative.
I see, sir. Right, sir.
Yeah, actually, but it's a useful, and sir has expertise in that. So he will give the brief idea about the CS Pro.
Right.
Actually, there is. Have you got all the emails to link for the download the CS Pro?
Yes.
Have you got?
No, sir.
No. Actually, I have sent all the questionnaire Word file and link for to download this CS Pro.
Check, sir. I will check.
Please check your email because.
कैसा है अली? ज्यादा तीखा तो नहीं है ना गप्पी?
So PPT.
Yes. Yeah.
Because
Yeah, it is visible, sir.
Visible, na?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So sorry for disturbance due to some technical problem.
So can you please brief in the short, because we have a lack of time.
Okay. So this is the CS Pro software. CS Pro software are using mainly for the data entry program. So so you have learned so many things about questionnaire, data collection, but in the data entry, so mainly people are using Excel and others program, and there is no provision to manage the skip, and if there is some skipping question, suppose question number 2 is no, then no need to question number ask question number 3. I have already sent the questionnaire. If you have seen the questionnaire, suppose if you have not idea, if you have not heard about COVID-19, then next question is the source of information of knowledge of COVID-19 will not enter in the data. But this facility is not available in the SPSS and in the Excel data entry. So that's why we are using the CS Pro software for data entry. So I am going to quickly. So many software are available for the data entry, API info, Excel. Many people are using the Excel, SPSS, directly data, and ODK, Open Data Kits. WHO are using the Open Data Kits. And if you compare all this software, then CS Pro is the best option. Like DHS, Demographic Health Survey, known as a National Family Health Survey in India, is using the CS Pro. So it is a software for data entry program. Census survey processing is developed by US Census Bureau with the help of the UNAIDS. So these are the very big survey. Those are using the CS Pro. So in the CS Pro, you can create your data entry program. Suppose you have your data collection is over, then you can create your data entry program. So there is a file, dictionary, edit, forms, tree. In files, we can create the files like the questionnaires, ID variable, and the socioeconomics categories, then the understanding about COVID, knowledge and perception about COVID, and prevention method of COVID. And this is a farm. Farm, you can enter your data. So for creating the data, CS Pro data entry, first you have opened the CS Pro. So this window will, you can see. So here you can see data entry program, KP data entry. So for, if you are going to collect your data on paper, and then you are going to enter your questionnaire in the data for the data entry, then you have to create the data entry application. If you are going to collect your data directly through phone, a mobile phone, or KP, or any tablet, then you can make a data entry program using the KP data entry applications. So nowadays, suppose in NFHS 4, National Family Health Survey, they are using the tablet. You can say KP, Computer Assistant Personal Interview. They can make the CS Pro in the tablet. They can enter directly. They are using the KP and collected the data directly in KP using the CS Pro. So after collection of the data of the CS Pro, there is no need to data management, data entry. You can directly go further data analysis. So these are the sub steps. You are going to make your file, then the software asks the input directly where you want to keep your data and folders. So there are some dictionary, data entry application. There are some logic. Suppose question 2 is no, then no need to ask question 3. Directly go to question 4. So it will manage directly. No need to go here and there. Suppose if you write the logic, the software directly manage the skipping pattern. So these are the area. Here you can see the dictionary tree. Here it's the files, ID variables, others variables. Here you can the dictionary level. You can add the variable level, define value level, variable level, and response category. So the, if here you can see that for ID variable for women, some if you are doing survey and women questionnaire, then you can make some questions about women, about ID variable, about household. So there are label is a type of questionnaire. Record, this is the include set of questions. Record means others type of section. You can say section like socioeconomics, identification, other things. Question item is a question. Response is a value set like male is 1, female is 2. And select the label, name, record level. You can say here record level and maximum if household ID maximum you can go to 50% in a household. If you imagine your perception that one household have maximum 50 persons, then you can enter here 50. Then you can enter all details of person 1, person 2, person 3 directly. And then benefit is this: after the data entering converted the data in any Excel, CS Pro, Excel, Stata, SPSS, it is almost more than almost 99% of your data is ready for data analysis. Because label, responses, all dictionary, all these things is there in the CS Pro. Then if you have, you need to some record, modify the name, insert the some other more record, insert some more items. So here you can see the start the question. It is alpha. I say numeric. You want to decimal or not? You want to zero fill or not? You can manage your questionnaires. And then here you can adding the value set. Like if there is any question about knowledge about COVID, yes, no. You can give the 1 or 2. About if you are asking age, here you can give the if you want to collect data on 18 to 99. So if someone enter to 17, someone enter to 101, so it will either message will come that your data entry is not good. So this is the form. After the preparation, this type of form you can see, and you can directly collect the data in the field using your mobile, and there is no need to use paper, pencil, and other things. And after the collection of data, you can restore data in your computer and any anywhere, and you can use the after the data collection, you can go directly for data analysis. There is no need to data management, data entry. If you are using the mobile, laptop, and mobile and tablet, if you are using the paper, pencil, then you can enter the data. So this is the form. You can generate form directly, one record using one form. Here you can write some, if you want to Dropbox, if you want to Dropbox menu, you can click and male, female. Otherwise, if you want to enter 1, 2, 3, any all provision is there. If you enter one question, and so software directly go to the second question. If you here all these things you can manage in the CS Pro. And the writing the logics for the managing the mainly escaping pattern. You can write logic here. So you can write the logic here like, do you currently smoke? Yes, no. If no, so you are not need to enter the others question about smoking behavior. So you can go directly about to question number, next question on alcohol. If alcohol is also no, so you are not need to enter the so many questions about alcohol, directly go the next question. There is some steps, so write the logic. If you want to manage the age more than, if less than 15, then you can go to the married. If more than 15, if less than 15, so there is no need to ask about their marital status. So it will skip directly the next question. No need to go the software will manage directly. This is entering the data. After creating your software, you can make a data entry file. This is the software for data entry program. After that, you can give your name, file name, and you can enter the data there. And then after the enter the data, whole data, you can export your data. You can export your data according to your convenience. Suppose someone is comfortable with SPSS, someone is comfortable with Stata, someone is comfortable with Excel for the data analysis. You can export your data. So benefit is CS Pro is you can export your data. So all these things will go in your data. Label, name, value name, variable name, response code, everything we transfer with existing software. Thanks. So can you go briefly for practical session for 5 to 10 minutes?
Yes, sir. First of all, sir, you have to stop this sharing your screen, and then you go.
धर्मेंद्र शेयर स्क्रीन कहाँ से करेंगे? नहीं हो रहा है
पहले सर इसको स्टॉप शेयरिंग कीजिए.
हाँ तो ये
स्टॉप शेयरिंग अभी नहीं हुआ है.
नहीं अभी तो ये वो आपका फुल स्क्रीन आ ही नहीं रहा है ना.
नहीं अभी तो ये फुल वो चल रहा है ना आपका जो पुराना वाला जो आपने किया है. इसको पहले हाँ आप कीजिए. आप शेयर स्क्रीन कीजिए. 1 मिनट. हाँ शेयर स्क्रीन कीजिए. Yes.
So it is visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So CS Pro is a free software. Any can download from Google. If there is some problem, I will send the latest version is 7.4.
Okay, so you have sent, and I will send it again to the participants.
Okay, I will. Okay. So I will. So I am going to quickly give some practical session. Like if you want to create new applications, and okay, then ask the you are going to make the data entry program for KP or data application. Then it will ask you where you want to keep your data or where you want to keep your package, data entry package. So you make one folder. You can give name like COVID-19. So here you can say the ID item.
Yes.
So you can delete and you can modify according to your. So in ID item, we can add the household numbers. Household number of the respondent. And state. I have sent already a questionnaire to all. So due to short time, I'm not going to enter many things. So in ID, we can have a HH number and state to know about the respondent. Then you can add more record like socioeconomics, characteristics of the population. In socioeconomics, you can ask so many questions like age, sex of the respondent, of the respondent, highest grade of completed you were attended school. Highest grade. The time is so short, it will take 1 hour to practical session. You can generate the form.
Sir, your screen is not visible.
Okay.
So please start sharing.
Okay. Now it is visible.
Yes, sir.
So we can create our data file name. Suppose data COVID. So there is no need to ID. You can type anything. Like HH number is 1, state is 2, age is we can write. I have given only one time. You can enter only 9, 1 to 9. Otherwise, we have give to more space. Sex, male. You were attending a school. And highest grade may be 9. Then accept this case. So now you can see one data entry is completed. So like this, we can prepare the questionnaires because time is very short. So we are not going to, otherwise I have already shared the questionnaire to all. I can prepare for this. So this is the only example. And I will send the PPT. From PPT, you can prepare your questionnaire. I have prepared the PPT from to see the PPT, you can prepare the questionnaire. So
please open your working sheet where you are working, because we are not able to see that. Here we are seeing only the, that folder data. So can you open that file where we have,
okay.
Where we have entered the data.
Okay. So it is visible?
Not, sir. COVID-19.
Now it is visible?
Sir, your file is not opening actually. So
okay.
CS Pro data entry file, you just open that.
You can open from here your data file.
Yes.
Suppose your data is, input data is here. I have give the name data file.
Yes, yes.
It is visible?
It's opening, not fully, but
yeah. So it is your file name.
Okay.
So from here you can start the data file. It is your data file. You can add more question, and then you have to transfer your data in the Excel file or any SPSS data for the analysis.
Okay.
So this is here in CS Pro also facility is there. People are doing some tabulation plan also. But more than 95% are not doing the tabulation plan in the CS Pro, because for data analysis, SPSS, Stata are the very good software.
Sir, like, there is a question from our participant that in medical research, which is better to use SPSS or CS Pro for quantitative data? CS Pro
in SPSS.
Okay.
Suppose some question is there, like some question is like, have you heard about COVID-19? And okay. respondent told that no. Then next question is the if yes, the next question is the what is the source of information? Okay. Internet, media, paper. So if respondent told no, you have to not ask the source of information, because respondent don't know about COVID-19. He never heard about COVID-19. So for this, there is some skip pattern. So in CS Pro, you can write the logic and you can manage data directly. Suppose your sample size is very large. So for 10 sample, you can go in SPSS and check where is the problem. But if your sample size is very large, then it is a very, there is some problem to go and check where is the problem. But in the CS Pro is the best option today for the data entry. Because you can manage all this skip pattern, you can directly go to next question. Suppose question number 3 is no, then there is no need to ask 4. Then your CS Pro will directly go to question number 5. With the program, you have not to go by cursor or not going to forward and backward button. CS Pro directly go to question number 5. If you write there skip that this question is 2, then skip to question number 5, question number 10. So if you see the many of the questionnaires in women, suppose in a household there is some delivery occurred in the past 1 year, so there is no delivery. So if you see the 10 or 15 or 20 question, no need to ask for that household. So you have to go to next section of the questionnaire. So SPSS will, there is no facility to manage the SPSS, the skipping pattern, but in CS Pro, it is a facility there. So best option is a CS Pro, but needs some expertise. Hello?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
No, CS Pro is very good question, but time is less.
Okay, sir. No issue. We will conduct the whole workshop on this CS Pro in upcoming future. So interested participants can join that.
Yes.
We will organize this whole workshop, 1 week workshop on the CS Pro only.
Yeah, yes, because there is a one app you can make the data entry program in your mobile.
Yes, yes.
You can collect data direct on mobile, and you can go for direct analysis. There no need to data management.
Okay, sir.
Almost 99% data management will done with the logic in CS Pro.
Oh, that's nice. So we will definitely organize this workshop on CS Pro also. That will be beneficial for the researchers. So I think that's all about your session, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So any query from the participant side, then they can unmute themselves. We will take the 1 or 2 questions because we are lack of time.
Sir, is it free, CS Pro?
Yes, sir. It is free.
Yes, sir. It is free of cost.
Right, sir. And sir, your PPT and other files we have not all of us have received. I'll request Dr. Yadav if you can kindly send it.
Yes, sir. After this session, we will definitely send all the study materials, including this CS Pro software.
Thank you, sir.
So,
Hello,
sir,
I will send all the files.
Okay, sir. So, dear participants, I just want to know whether we have to proceed for the non-parametric session, or I will send the PPT to all of you. Which one is better? Because since the lack of time.
Please send the PPT.
Okay, so it's all about your choice, because I think it's a very hectic today's session. So I will send the PPT for the non-parametric. So if you allow.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Is there any software for mobile to collect the data?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If CS Pro, you can download CS Pro software in your mobile from Google, and you have to make some data entry program. Like I have made some 2-3 questions, and then you can transfer from computer to your mobile from data cards in your mobile software, and you can directly collect the data in your mobile, and it is automatically saved. No need to save. Just you ask the question, age, sex, marital status, and then submit. Your data will be storage automatically.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Can we do parametric and non-parametric via CS Pro?
Parametric, non-parametric, and data analysis. CS Pro is for data entry.
Data entry only.
Only entry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not for analysis purpose. So
where to use SPSS is must.
Yeah, for the analysis purpose. But for the
SPSS data, whatever is compatible with you, you can use.
What you recommend, sir?
So recommend those who are comfortable in SPSS, they can use SPSS. Those who are comfortable in Stata, but data management and data analysis, Stata is better than SPSS, but SPSS is also good.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you.
Sir, every software has its own pros and cons.
Yeah.
So you cannot compare.
Yeah.
Because each has the individual characteristics. So can you please stop sharing your screen, sir?
Which screen?
Stop sharing your screen because your screen is visible. Yeah, it's fine. So thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session. Because in a very less time you have mentioned all these things, so it is not possible perhaps. But you have given the insight to all the researchers for the new beginning, and in the future we will definitely organize such events like CS Pro and qualitative, and other software like NVivo for the qualitative. So we will try to incorporate all these topics in our upcoming sessions, upcoming workshop on these softwares. So
you may organize a spatial analysis in health research.
Okay, so definitely.
Nowadays, people are using the spatial analysis, clustering, and other things in health research.
In health research, because this health research is our own area. I'm also from NHFW, and you are from NIMS, ICMR NIMS. So there are so many, and this here all the medical professionals are here. So definitely they are interested to know the new things in the research, which I have the biomedical research has nowadays. So definitely we will try to organize such a workshop in the future. So thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful session. And now I would like to invite our Chief Patron, Professor R.K. Shukla, sir. Sir, can you hear me? Yeah, actually, yeah. Shukla, sir? Just a minute. Oh, perhaps he is not there. So anyway, thanks to all the participants, and thanks to all the our esteemed resource persons, and for making this event successful. I hope this will be your wonderful learning journey for the learning. So I am thankful to all the participants from my own side and from my team. So
hope you send us the certificates.
Yeah. Actually, we have just sent the certificates in midnight of today's midnight, and it will from tomorrow you will get the certificates on your email. Actually our team is going in the preparation of that. So
thank you.
From tomorrow you will get your own certificates.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And
so prompt, sir. Congratulations.
Oh, okay. Actually, there is a Professor Shukla is with us. So, Professor Shukla, can you hear me, sir? Just a minute. So, he is just joining us because he is a chief mentor for this workshop, and he is a guide for all these event activities in this training program. So we just conclude this valedictory session. So Shukla sir, Professor R.K. Shukla sir, can you hear me? Hello. Sir, can you hear me? R.K. Shukla sir? Okay. So anyway, thank you so much, sir, for your enlightening session. And thanks to all the participants. If you have any query or suggestion regarding our future activities, then you can also suggest us that which topic or which software you want to know in the future workshop. So you can suggest us.
And regarding CS Pro, if anyone can ask any time to mail me if you have any problem.
Yeah, sir has actually expertise in CS Pro. So can you please, sir, give your email ID in the chat box? Because many of the researchers want to ask any query or question in the future, they can contact you directly. Because our objective is to provide this platform for the researchers. So in the meanwhile, can we make Dr. Shukla, sir, Professor Shukla, sir, you can hear me? Oh, perhaps he's not there. So anyway, sir, it's your email ID.
Yeah.
Anybody any query in the future, they can directly contact to Professor Yadav for in upcoming help in regarding the CS Pro especially, because he is a very expert in CS Pro. And we will take one week workshop on CS Pro also, according to your choice and need. So we can organize such workshop. Thank you all.
Sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Yadav, sir, and your team.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
And congratulations for your organizing committee.
Thank you so much, sir. And we are very happy for your comments. And we have also apologized for some inconvenience.
No problem, sir. It will all happen sometimes, some technical issues.
Because many times technical problems in not our end. And we tried our best to provide all the best resource persons of the country.
That is not in our hands.
In the health research, we provide all the best resource person.
Yeah, we can understand, sir. Not a problem. We can understand.
And in future also, please keep in touch through this WhatsApp group. And
sir, if you have any doubts, can we post the questions?
Yes, of course. And we will.
Sir, please provide all the PPTs and the recording sessions. So once again,
yes,
it's better.
Definitely. And you will get the your certificates tomorrow. On your email.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you,
Jitendra,
sir. Thank you,
Congratulations.
Thank you, Yadav, sir. Thank you.
And your team.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.